This is CBN NewsWatch.
It is Wednesday, September 16th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, Hurricane Sally making landfall this morning and bringing the threat of drenching rains to Alabama, Florida, and Louisiana. Historic Middle East peace agreements between Israel and two Arab nations signed at the White House. We're going to bring you a look at what those agreements mean. And we're going to take you to Israel to bring you the reaction from both Israelis and Palestinians. And thousands of people touched by the gospel with salvation and healing, as well as worship, meeting at this Colorado meeting this weekend. We're going to bring you that and so much more in this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We want to begin, though, with Hurricane Sally making landfall this morning near Gulf Shore, Alabama, as a Category 2 storm with winds of more than 100 miles an hour and threatening Alabama, Mississippi, the Florida Panhandle, all with drenching rains and life-threatening flooding. The slow-moving storm expected to bring historic life-threatening flash floods to parts of the Gulf Coast with heavy downpours of 10 to 30 inches of rain. Flood alert stretching nearly 700 miles along the Gulf Coast, as dangerous storm surge also expected for several communities. Governors of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida all declaring states of emergency. Tornado warnings also in effect for the area. And while New Orleans dodged a bullet, forecasters say it will see minor effects of the storm. Florida already taking a beating as torrential rains tore apart docks and wind gusts toppled trees. Before the storm's landfall, authorities in Alabama were urging residents along low-lying rivers to evacuate before it was too late.
In these type events, usually when the winds reach about 35 to 40 miles an hour, we can no longer have motor vehicles on the road, and certainly we cannot launch a boat and do that. So there will become a point in time during the storm that we would not be able to respond.
Forecasters say the storm could bring 4 months of rain in just 24 hours. As Sally continues its slow trek inland, it has the potential to affect people for days to come. For more on what we can expect from the storm, we're going to check in now with AccuWeather.
Hurricane Sally made landfall this morning around 5:45 a.m. Wednesday across the Gulf shores of Florida. This has been bringing in heavy rainfall as well as strong winds across portions of Florida as well as into Alabama. Here is the latest on Hurricane Sally, a Category 2 storm at landfall, continuing with that Category 2 strength, moving north-northeast at 3 miles per hour. Winds associated with the storm at 105 miles per hour. We will continue to see those winds decrease as Sally continues to interact with land. As we take a look at the radar from the last 3 hours, heavy rain across Interstate 10 and points to the north as well. We will continue to see rain extend not only through Florida nor Alabama, but even throughout Georgia, becoming a bit steady and heavy. Right now, still looking at hurricane warnings in those darker shades of red. That does include Biloxi, Mobile, Pensacola, and tropical storm warnings in the shades of orange. We'll continue to see Sally move further inland throughout today, eventually decreasing later into our Wednesday and Thursday to a tropical storm and continuing to lose strength as it interacts with land across Georgia and the Carolinas. However, even though it will lose strength, we are still concerned about storm surge, winds, and flooding. Flash flood warnings in those bright green boxes flashing throughout Mobile, Pensacola, Panama City, and even as you head to the north of Interstate 10, as I mentioned. As you head into Montgomery, Atlanta, Gainesville, Macon, flash flood watches, meaning eventually we are going to see those that same environment that we're noticing at the coast. Heavy rainfall with that slow moving storm. We are noticing 16 inches plus throughout portions of Mobile when it's all said and done. And then as we see Sally track further to the northeast, Birmingham, Montgomery could see 4 to 8 inches. Augusta and Charlotte as well as Chattanooga could see 2 to 4 inches of rain. And that's for that storm surge. It has been deadly. We are going to continue to see, I should say, life-threatening. We are going to continue to see that storm surge range from 6 to 10 feet out to Dauphin Island as well as Orange Beach. And to Mobile, you could see 3 to 6 feet with that storm surge. We are going to be concerned with winds, but they should come down to 100-mile-per-hour gusts throughout Mobile. Still enough to bring in extensive power outages, which we've already noticed. And then winds will continue to weaken as we head into Jackson as well as Troy and into Selma, where they'll be ranging from 40 to 60 miles per hour. The threat then becomes the heavy rainfall over the next several days. We are still going with an AccuWeather real impact scale of 2, meaning immediate damage to that coastline as well as flooding, which will be on the moderate level and even some cases at high levels.
I want to turn overseas now. Hundreds of people have been killed in Ethiopia by radical Muslims in coordinated door-to-door attacks. It's been happening since June, many of them targeting Christian households. That is all according to a report from the Barnabas Fund. The attacks have come in the Oromo region of the African nation. The extremists have been armed with guns, machetes, swords, and spears. Stories in Ethiopian media confirm what Barnabas is reporting. The violence involves religious as well as ethnic cleansing. But the situation is complicated and appears to also involve political motivations. Some of the attackers reportedly got help from area authorities in trying to find specific individuals who have been actively involved in supporting the church. Back here at home, the city of Louisville has settled a lawsuit with the family of BREONNA Taylor. It will pay $12 million over the killing of the 26-year-old. Taylor died after she was shot in a police raid at her home back in March. The wrongful death lawsuit claimed police ignored mandatory safeguards during the botched raid. Not only does the settlement include the $12 million payout from the city, it also includes police reforms to prevent a similar shooting from happening again. Coming up, Israel signing 2 historic agreements with Arab countries at the White House Tuesday in a move the president declared will mark, quote, the dawn of a new Middle East. They're called the Abraham Accords. We're going to take a look at what those agreements mean and say, as well as get reaction from Israelis and Palestinians. We've got that story for you when we come back.
Before you marry is a bad idea.
Don't tell me there's no such thing as gun violence.
That just depends on your definition of when life begins.
Watch Dan and Dale tackle trending topics that test your faith on the next Faith Wire, Monday night at 9:30. The Global Lane takes you around the world, providing facts over fiction.
What might rising trade and geopolitical tensions mean for you on the home front?
With over 45 years of experience, award-winning journalist Gary Lane brings you the truth from a global angle.
What about the issue of immigration?
World news analysis you won't see anywhere else.
And it's all right here on the Global Lane.
Watch The Global Lane, Thursday night at 9:30.
Political news and analysis from Washington on Faith Nation, tonight at 6 Eastern, only on the CBN News Channel.
An historic step towards peace in the Middle East after 2 Arab countries signed agreements with Israel. The United Arab Emirates and Bahrain signed the deals with the Jewish state at the White House on the South Lawn. CBN White House correspondent Ben Kennedy brings us a look at the ceremony and why these agreements are so important.
President Trump calls the accord peace in the Middle East without blood on the sand. This is also a diplomatic win for the commander-in-chief ahead of the November election.
We're here this afternoon to change the course of history.
A historic peace deal dubbed the Abraham Accord, signed on the South Lawn, establishing full diplomatic ties between the key allies of the U.S.
Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain will establish embassies, exchange ambassadors, and begin to cooperate and work together so strongly.
Let me start by conveying the best regards of the UAE people.
The UAE became the first Gulf state and third Arab nation to agree to diplomatic ties with Israel. Bahrain signed on last week.
This day is a pivot of history. It heralds a new dawn of peace. For thousands of years, the Jewish people have prayed for peace. For decades, the Jewish state has prayed for peace.
We can see before us a golden opportunity for peace, security, and prosperity for our region.
The agreement should add security to the region and is seen as a major step towards peace in the Middle East.
To be Jewish, to be an evangelical, and to be there watching it unfold, this is prophetic, it's historic, it's exciting, and it's personal for me. I've had 2 sons serve in the Israeli military, and I want them to have peace.
Under the agreement, Israel agrees to stop annexation plans for part of the West Bank, land sought by Palestinians for a future state. Israeli military says 2 people were injured after rockets were fired from Gaza during the peace signing in D.C. The Palestinians condemn the deal and consider it a stab in the back.
We want the Palestinians to come to the table, but we can't want peace more than they do. And so to date, they have reacted badly to our proposal. They've reacted badly to our peace agreements with the United Arab Emirates and with Bahrain. And it's a huge mistake by the leadership.
Now President Trump says there are at least 5 other countries in the Middle East that are tired of fighting and ready to join the circle of peace. If Saudi Arabia were to follow suit, this would have major implications for Lebanon, Syria, and Iran. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, the White House.
Continue our coverage now. We take a look at the reaction in Israel to these historic agreements. Israelis welcomed the new deals, while Palestinians fired rockets as the ceremony unfolded. CBN News Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the story. She's reporting from Jerusalem.
The flags of the U.S., Israel, UAE, and Bahrain were projected on Jerusalem's old city walls as leaders in Washington signed the deals. At a reception for diplomats, Israeli President Reuven Rivlin thanked the Gulf state leaders for their courage and invited them to Jerusalem.
I hope that many more Arab and Muslim countries follow your lead, and that we see a new era of peace among nations. P2P, people to people, peace to peace. I hope as well that this spirit of cooperation will help us to build a future of trust with our Palestinian neighbors.
But that doesn't look promising. During the speech of the UAE's foreign minister, rockets fired from Gaza rained down on the southern Israeli cities of Ashkelon and Ashdod. One rocket fell in the commercial center of Ashdod, wounding 3 Israelis. Overnight, terrorists launched another 13 rockets at Israel. 8 were intercepted by Iron Dome. In response, IDF jets hit Hamas military targets in Gaza. Hamas said the peace deal was working against national Arab security and fueling disagreements in the region. Meanwhile, Israelis at Jerusalem's open-air market told CBN News they were both cautious and excited about the deals.
It's very good that Arabs and Jewish, everybody, Muslims, Jewish, everybody connected and try to make this world a better place.
As long as they don't demand from us to stop building the settlements, that they will pressure the Prime Minister to make all kinds of concessions with the settlements. And then it would be, in my opinion, a worthless agreement.
It's in good time right now. The economics of Israel is really in low. They can help us a lot.
Many said they wanted to visit the Gulf states and looked forward to good things ahead.
Abu Dhabi is going to be the first stop.
Me Dubai.
Is Dubai, I'm Abu Dhabi.
In the first flight.
Israelis will be able to fly to Dubai without having to use a second passport. But more importantly, I think the general sense that peace is inevitable in the region and that everyone who is interested in advancing their countries and their societies need to get on the peace train.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Still ahead, his art is larger than life, and so is his heart for people in need and often forgotten. We have the story and faith behind the painter known in the art community simply as MOJO.
On the home front.
Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
On the Home Front, Tuesday morning at 10:30.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government.
My focus has been trying to really make sure we have the future leaders we need for the bench and the bar and for society generally.
You'll learn from highly credentialed leaders who are current and former judges, distinguished scholars, and ACLJ counsel.
I'm so glad I chose Regent. The relationships here have been amazing. The faculty have been amazing. Not everybody's called to the same thing when they leave law school, but they're called by a God who has a purpose for their lives, and He is going to use that education to make a difference in the world.
Regent will prepare you to be a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer. To start your rewarding law career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July. Apply today.
Fans of his larger-than-life paintings know him simply as MOJO. His clients include Nike, the Salvation Army, NBC, and many more. But at the heart of his work is a personal passion to touch and inspire communities of often forgotten people. He's an artist and an activist who makes time to mentor young creatives who would like to follow in his footsteps. He sat down with Studio 5 to share his faith and his story.
Painting is like kind of forcing me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and that is like the transition, like how my career changed, all that because I literally pick up the paintbrush.
Let's start with the name, because your name is Anthony Reed II, but the art world and your fans know you as MOJO. Where did MOJO come from?
It's funny because that nickname came in college. So ultimately, there was an instance where I just basically made lemonade out of lemons. And, you know, and it's just kind of like how I roll. You know, I just try to, you know, transmute things like into something else, you know? And so that's where that nickname came from.
This painting is called King, and basically it is a manifestation of me. This painting is part of a collection called She for the Culture, which is sharing her evolution.
You're an athlete as well as an artist. What sports?
So basketball is my main sport. I was getting into track, but unfortunately I had broke my ankle like at the beginning of the season.
Now, home is St. Louis and Ferguson. You lived in Ferguson for a while?
I grew up in the Normandy School District. So that's, ironically, that's where Michael Brown went to high school, like, you know, later on in his life.
The unarmed black teenager was shot by a white police officer who says Brown attacked him. A grand jury decided not to indict the officer. Brown's death led to months of protests and drew attention to police practices nationwide.
So where were you when all the chaos unfolded around the death of Michael Brown?
You know, it's, this story is hard, man. It happened. Literally, I was getting my hair cut. It happened literally 5 minutes away from where I was getting my hair cut at the barbershop. I just remember like seeing a whole bunch of like cop cars like driving up and down Ferguson. And I remember like leaving the barbershop, and when I got in my car, I saw this guy with like a tank top t-shirt on holding a cardboard sign saying like, they just killed my son. And so at that point, like it was just real. It was real at that point. Like, you know, you see the Trayvon Martin, you see the Eric Garners and now the Amari Rashad and you know, George Floyd. But you seeing it, you know, on TV and you seeing it on the news and things like that. It's so much different when it you know, when it happens like right in front of you, like right in your backyard. That really resonated with me a lot, and that is the catalyst as to why I started to transition from teaching on a college level of art to painting.
Now you go from St. Louis and Ferguson to move to Miami, which is where you are now.
Yes.
And I've heard you say, and I'd like this story, to get this story from you, you make this move and Jesus says something to you?
Well, this painting is of Jesus in a time where, like, what if he was here right now? When I moved to Miami, this is exactly what he said. He said, you are here for a purpose. I put you here, and it is going to be hard, but you are going to get through it. Like, we will get through it together.
The first thing I did was, you know, what felt right to me was to like get baptized pretty much. Everything was just hard during that time. Like, you know, graduated from college. It was really hard to find jobs. I wanted to kind of turn my life over to him. During that time, you know, like after I made that decision, you know, I met Alejandra. So Alejandra is my now fiance. She was awesome. She is awesome. And dope artist and phenomenal artist, phenomenal woman, and very spiritual herself. So I was asking for these things. Like, I wanted a spiritual woman. I wanted to, you know, be in a place that made me feel free. And I wanted to continue pursuing art full time.
In light of all that's going on in our world, I know you just wrapped another mural project in your area. In light of all that's going on, what are you feeling right now?
What's cool is that there's a bunch of people that want to see something positive too. The Band-Aid to me is my favorite because it's basically about taking hits or being hurt, having the guts to get back up.
It reminds me of Groundhog's Day, like the movie, where like every day it's the same thing, and you're trying to change bits and pieces of your day so that the outcome is different, but the outcome is always the same. And for me, like that's what it's what it's feeling like. And I just decided simply just to take action. Like I just decided to take action in a way that felt right to me, which was like art. You know what I mean? Like, which was to create imagery that I feel resonates with me and also with anybody that sees it. You have to manifest what you want to see.
As you can imagine, Mojo keeps busy. He has lots more work to share on his website and on his social media platforms. There are also stories of race and culture in that artwork, and we're exploring that issue this evening on Studio 5. You can catch the full show at 9:30 Eastern, and you can find it on the CBN News Channel. Coming up, worship meetings once again reaching thousands of people, bringing healing and salvation, this time in Colorado over the weekend. We're going to have that story when we come back. Stay with us.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government. Ready to become a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer? To start your rewarding career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July.
Nutrition, exercise, essential oils, weight loss, and more. It's Healthy Living with Lori Johnson.
Talk about what's in this.
Join CBN health reporter Lori Johnson to get the latest information from today's top health experts.
This is fantastic.
Find out what you need to know to live a healthier life. Watch Healthy Living, Tuesday night at 9:30.
Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
No Spur Falls, man. Come and...
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
More revival meetings in the Western United States over the weekend, touching the hearts and lives of many with the gospel. You're looking at video from one of the Let Us Worship events, this one in Colorado, where people gathered to praise God. Leaders of the event say thousands came together in Fort Collins City Park, and many received healing as well as salvation. Praise leader Sean Foyt posted on Instagram, people were going wild for Jesus. Foyt and his praise team also held another event the next day in Colorado Springs, where he said God's presence was just as evident. Time now for your Wednesday word, and today's word is live. There are many aspects of our lives right now that are upside down, paused, or finished. But life is not over. You are alive. Life happens. Live anyway. Look up and live. God is on the throne, and He has not counted you out. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us at the address on your screen, newswatch@cbn.com. And, of course, we're available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We hope you'll make this a wonderful Wednesday and a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.